Hey folks, this is Rob with Cherry City Guns and Ammo, and today we're going to look at the High Point 995. Stick around. When you're limited to 5 rounds in a rifle, well, you just got to load up a bunch of magazines and burn through them as quick as you can. Alright, what we have here is the High Point 995. Now, despite the fact that you look at this stock, you think, oh, it's a 995 TS tactical stock model. This is not. This is an old school High Point. The original ones, you think this is ugly. You should have seen what this looked like before the TS stock. I don't have the actual stock anymore. I threw that in the garbage because that thing was just hideous. Even though I ran with that stock for a number of years. But this is what, right here, I'll flash it up in the corner. That's what the original 995 looked like. That's what this gun actually looked like in the beginning. The great thing is, High Point sent me the TS stock that is meant to be used with the original 995 for $40. So going from that ugly old beast that you see up there to this was $40. High Point catches a lot of flack, but there's some really good values that should not be ignored. They might draw the wrong kind of attention at the range. I mean, shooting a High Point is kind of like driving a moped. It's fun to do until your friends catch you doing it, because you're going to catch a lot of crap. But you know what? They're fun. This thing's accurate. It's dependable. It eats every ammunition that I've ever put through it. And it just runs. It just flat runs. This has a few little upgrades, nothing too major. I upgraded this charging knob to a bigger one. I don't even have the original one because, once again, I pitched that thing. It was really small. I wanted something nice and big. Speaking of charging, you're not going to have any 5-year-olds charge this thing. It's rather stiff to charge. And it's even harder to lock back because you have to come, you'll see there's this notch here. You come all the way back. Even I have a hard time with it. You come all the way back and push it in. And that's how you lock it open. And then you simply pull it out, or not so simply, to close it. So, yeah, not a great feature. But it works. You just got to be strong. You got to eat your Wheaties if you're going to shoot this. Also, the trigger. I didn't plan on pulling the trigger scale gauge out for this gun because it's so bad, but then I figured, what the hell, let's have a laugh. Let's put the trigger scale on here. This only goes up to 8, so I don't know if it's even going to work with this gun, honestly. Oh! Just short of 8 pounds, about 7¾ pounds. Let's try that again. That time we got to break it about 7¼ So it's not just the weight of the trigger. We got about 7 3/8 there. So you're looking at a 7½-ish pound trigger. It's not just the weight. It can't really be described other than it feels weird. It's got creep, and then it breaks, but the creep moves. The reset, it's barely audible. It is somewhat tactile. I missed it somehow, so it's not super tactile. right there. Yeah, so the reset's not great. The trigger feels weird. There's several little spots where it seems to kind of catch. So I don't know if creep would even be the right term. There's movement to the trigger. There's no real wall. I wouldn't call it a two-stage trigger because there's no real wall. So it's more of like a weird, creepy, has a couple little different catching points, single stage. But you can learn how to manipulate it well enough. And what I have on here for a red dot, this is a red dot that is on Amazon. When I bought it, it was 25 bucks. I think they're up to about 35 bucks now. And I think it's called the Field Sport. I've had it for 3 years now. I think it's called the Field Sport. And for a really cheap red dot, they're pretty much indestructible. There's some really great videos of people torture testing the crap out of these. And they just keep running. I've had this on this gun. I've had it on an SKS. I've had it on my 300 Blackout upper. It's kind of jumped around. It hasn't really had a home. I think I'm probably going to end up going and buying another one because for just a cheap utility red dot, it's great. I mean, it's red only. It doesn't go green. It doesn't have like a 5-year battery life. So it'll be dead if you forget to turn it off and then you go back to the range, which I've done multiple times. But just keep batteries in your bag and get in the habit of checking your switches every time you go to leave the range. But really, yeah, it's a great little optic. It's almost kind of like the high point of red dots. It's not super pretty. It's cheap, but it's tough and it's dependable. And, you know, when it really comes down to it, I think those are the things that are probably the most important. The aesthetics are secondary. The other thing about this gun, here's your safety. It's kind of weird. It's just a thin stamped sheet metal flap. Magazine release. They drop fairly freely. If they didn't drop freely, you would really have a hard time getting to them. Sorry, that was my phone ringing. To strip them, but luckily that's not an issue. They drop freely. The bad thing is this is a 9mm and it's got a single stack 10-shot mag. It comes with 2 of these. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of a single stack 10-shot 9mm mag. I really wish they had something double stack. You can get 10-round single stack mags through Red Ball. And I hear good things about them, but they look really weird because they kind of come down at this angle and then they kind of an angle like that. So it's, yeah, they're kind of weird. But I hear good things about them. I hear they're really dependable and they work really well. So I'll probably get one of those at some point and review it in this gun. But you know, for like 250 bucks, just to go out and have a fun plinking 9mm without spending a whole bunch of money, something you can use as a truck gun, have banging around underneath the back seat of your pickup and not worry about what happens to it. This is a great gun for that. And you can actually get this in 380, 9mm, 40, 45, and recently they came out with this in 10mm, which I find pretty interesting. That should be fun. Especially I have a 16-inch barrel. I would love to see the ballistics on 10mm through a 16-inch barrel. All these are rated for plus P. You know, with the 9mm and a 16-inch barrel, it's pretty much turned that 9mm into a 357 Magnum. You're getting those same similar velocities with the 9mm ammo. Especially running like 147s, you're going to be up in the same range as a 357, so similar ballistics. Anyway, they're a lot of fun. As long as you can take this to the range without being embarrassed too bad, pick one up. They're a blast. And High Point will treat you well if anything ever happens to it. So anyway, that's all I got for now. All right, just to sum up my thoughts on the High Point 995, there's definitely some features that are kind of lacking. Things that can be done to make it a much more enjoyable gun to shoot. However, it's going to pull it out of the current price point that it's in, so we wouldn't have that going for it anymore. What it has going for it absolutely is the price, the dependability, the customer service. the accuracy surprising enough. But it definitely has some definite cons, and you just got to decide if there's too many cons for you. But you know, if you want to spend $250 on just a fun little range toy, this would be probably a good one to have a kid go out and shoot. The recoil is pretty much minimal. It's got enough weight to it. You can set a kid down on a bench and they could shoot it all day long in 9mm and not cost you too much in ammo. And yeah, you know, it's a fun little gun. Maybe it's not something for everybody, but I enjoy it. You know, I've thought about getting rid of it a couple of times, but they're so cheap that if I was to sell it as a used gun, I wouldn't really get enough money out of it to really be worth not having it. So I'll probably just go ahead and hold on to it forever. I do pull it out and shoot every so often, and I don't do it often, but when I do, I actually do enjoy shooting it. So it'll stick around. It's kind of the pig of the safe, but we kind of enjoy playing with it every now and then. So thanks a lot for watching the video. We have some extremely big stuff coming up in the very, very near future, like within this next week. I think we're going to have the most awesome video that we've put out by far. It's going to be big, it's going to be explosive, and very destructive. We're going to have some fun blowing stuff up. I'm not going to say how we're going to do it. But if you like seeing stuff being blown apart, make sure you subscribe, hit the bell notification, so when that video comes out, and actually it's probably going to be about 4 videos in a row of the destruction with 4 pretty different guns from each other, but they're going to be a lot of fun blowing stuff up. So subscribe, hit the bell notification. We'll see you on the next video. Thanks a lot, folks. Bye.